It's Wednesday, and you know what that means. It's time for the first soda I've had in 3 days. So there's a story behind that, actually. So my wife and I go to our church, and these last 3 days have been a fasting day for prayer and whatnot to get ready for the new year and see if we hear anything from God. So my wife and I gave up sugar and caffeine.
Okay.
It has not been an easy 3 days.
Are you a big time coffee guy, or are you an energy drink?
I'm not a coffee guy. I'm a pop guy. Like this is a Sprite, so there's no caffeine in it because it's 7 o'clock at night.
But that's also zero sugar, so
it's zero sugar. But I made it a point, since she wasn't doing coffee because she loves her coffee, that I was gonna cut out caffeine and tea and be in solidarity with her. So it's one of those things where now that it's over, I can enjoy the spoils.
How rough was it though? Because
honestly, not as bad as I thought it would be.
How bad was it for the wife though? I know coffee, a lot of people can get really cranky without their coffee in the mornings.
She was more tired than cranky, I think. Okay. So now that she'll be able to have coffee tomorrow, she'll be able to, be
get
good.
Back to normal.
Yeah, get back on the horse and whatnot.
Speaking of back to normal, our teams suck again, Greg.
Our team's bounced in the playoffs. It's watch, rinse, repeat for us.
I mean, we were the two biggest underdogs going into the last weekend's games.
It's my own fault. I put a bet on the Steelers, and I don't do that. I don't do that. Like I've told you with my parlays, I try not to bet on the Steelers, and I did it. I got greedy and I lost.
The whole season, I have put, my individual bets on every game throughout the season. But throughout every game, I've also put a $5 bet on the Broncos throughout the season.
I'm trying to think if I bet.
Very rarely do those hit.
I'm trying to think if I bet the Steelers money line or if I just bet that they cover the spread, which they didn't do either. So,
no, but both of our teams, not only did they lose, they lost in horrific fashion.
Yeah. Daniel's saying he's excited for his Detroit Lions, just a few games away from the Super Bowl. First off, the Washington Commanders. Sorry to anyone who's a Commanders fan. That includes Izzy Marino. My Detroit Lions need this. That also includes Maven, buddy.
And I understand that your Lions need this. The Commanders just got their first playoff win in almost 2 decades. That's a little bit of momentum.
Granted, it took a doink off the field goal post to get it done, but still.
The greatest doink. Meanwhile, Will Lutz, I need you to get moved the hell out of here. Yeah. I am rooting for the Lions to make it to the Super Bowl.
I would not be upset.
Be a tough road.
I would not be upset if the Lions won the Super Bowl. Even though the Steelers were in the playoffs, I was like, if the Lions won, that'd be fine. It'd be fine. We don't need the Chiefs. It's an anybody but the Chiefs or the Ravens situation right here. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit who out of the NFC wins. I don't care.
I know Greg won't like this. I'll take a Ravens Super Bowl just because that's my brother's team.
It's your brother's team, but I can't. I'm an AFC North guy. I'm a Steelers guy. I can't root for Ravens. I can't do it.
The one time I rooted for the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, I was like, you know what? If anybody's going to do it, the Chiefs haven't been here hardly ever. So if any team's going to do it, not the Patriots. Come on, Kansas City.
The only time
that 1 year my entire life now.
Yeah. The only time I've gone out of my way to root for the Ravens in the playoffs was when they played New England. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Because in Boston don't get along. I don't want to root for Baltimore. I mean, Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson both play each other, both MVP candidates, so that should be interesting.
Speaking of, that Buffalo crowd was loud with their MVP chants.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Part of Denver losing was the fact that they couldn't get into it mentally. Buffalo was so fucking loud.
Yeah. Well, they better keep that energy up because they got this game, and if Kansas City loses, then they got the home game in the AFC Championship. So,
I was gonna say they're hosting Baltimore, right?
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Buffalo got the number 2 seed, so yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting playoffs, and then the Rams beating Minnesota was kind of.
That
You
fucked
expect
up my
Sam
parlay.
Darnold? You expect Sam Darnold to fuck up, but you don't expect him to do that.
I was so mad about that because I looked at the score when the Rams were up by 2 scores. I was like, oh, well, so much for my parlay. It wasn't for much, but it was still. It was like I had a 3-game parlay, and I had the Vikings winning by like 2.5 points or something. It's like, oh, you didn't even come close to doing that.
No, LA took the score early, and they ran with it.
Absurd.
So what? Let me get my FanDuel out real quick because I can tell you what the games are. Okay, we can get the football talk out of the way because we can talk about the important football for you right after.
Yeah, I get to see it. I get to see a championship game this year in football that I'm actually invested in.
In 5 days, right?
Yep, Monday. So Monday Night Raw, I ain't watching.
That show can fuck up for the week.
Let me put it this way: I don't want to have to turn to Raw on Monday, like I did 12 years ago. I don't want to do that again. Like it was bad when Alabama went up 28-0 or something in the first half against Notre Dame. I was like, okay, I'm not watching this massacre.
Come on, go Irish, man! This is big. I really hope it for them.
It is a so much different team. So much. They put up a stat that said Marcus Freeman has more top 5 wins in college football in the last month with Notre Dame than Brian Kelly has had in 12 years.
Oof. That's damning.
I'll tell you what, that's why Notre Dame fans gave him the nickname Big Game Brian, because he always showed up and always got his ass kicked all the time.
Ooh. That's disgraceful. All right. So the 4 games.
Exactly, Zach. Exactly. You know what's up, buddy.
The 4 games this weekend. Houston going to Kansas City on Saturday. Saturday afternoon, 2:30 game. That is a 8.5 point spread in favor of Kansas City.
I'll tell you what, the Texans this past weekend, I don't know what was in their Wheaties or whatever. They took care of business, and just I would like to think that they actually cover the spread. I'm not saying they're going to win, but I think the Texans are a little motivated to pull an upset in KC.
So you're taking Houston on the spread?
I'm taking Houston on the spread. I'm taking Kansas City for the game.
Okay.
Because there's some like Taylor Swift black magic going on there. It's like whatever.
We're gonna get a triple doinking in or some shit like that.
It's got to somehow bounce off of both goalposts and the crossbar and go in.
Saturday night, Washington Commanders at the Detroit Lions with a 9.5 point spread currently in favor of Detroit.
Yeah. Sorry, Commanders fans. I got to go Detroit with that one. Maven, I love you, brother. You know that. I texted you congratulations after the game. After the Commanders won that game, I was like, but you're facing Detroit. So it's not exactly a wonderful prize to get when you win.
Yeah. It was like Denver breaking their streak of not making the playoffs just to get destroyed in the first round. Congratulations. You've won your first playoff game in 19 years. Go play Detroit.
Yeah. Have fun with
it. I'm taking Detroit in that game too. I don't know if I'm taking that big ass spread, but
I mean, it depends. Like the Lions have been offensive juggernauts this season, so I wouldn't be
they've put
surprised.
up 30+ points on like 12 of their opponents this year. All right, going on to Sunday, 1:00. LA Rams at Philly Eagles. I think the Rams take this one. The spread is 6.5.
You think the Rams take this one?
Unless Jalen Hurts goes crazy through the air, yeah. I mean, Saquon is a factor. Saquon definitely is a factor. But
he definitely is.
But the Rams have a very underrated defense this whole year.
That's true. I feel like Philly's going to take it. Their defense is really good. Yeah, I'm going to go with Philly. I think they're going to at least make the championship. I don't think they'll have the pieces to stifle Detroit in the NFC Championship, but I think Philly goes to the NFC Championship.
I just find it crazy that these first 3 games had such big spreads. A full touchdown in LA, Philly, 9.
Just wait till you get to the national championship game for college. That and then, unless that's come down since.
We'll get into that. I'm looking forward to that. And then the closest spread of the weekend, the biggest game of the weekend probably, Baltimore at Buffalo, 1.5-point spread in favor of Baltimore.
In favor of Baltimore? Listen.
In favor of Baltimore.
I know that the Ravens just basically walked through the Steelers' defense. Like, they had, 300 rushing yards or something? That is unheard of. Even in college, that is unheard of. On an NFL defense, that's...
Derrick Henry, I think, had
that's Madden shit right there.
I think Derrick Henry had 180 yards in that game.
And here's the thing. Buffalo is better in big game situations right now than Pittsburgh is.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, Buffalo has a more competent offense than Pittsburgh does.
They got a much more competent defense.
That's what I'm saying. The Bills are a much more competent team than Pittsburgh.
They didn't get their record off of flukes like Kansas City did.
No, and Kansas City was one of their wins. So let's call a spade here. I think Buffalo wins. If it's Buffalo and KC in the AFC Championship again, I'm going to be
God. I will not shit talk Josh Allen ever again if he beats Kansas City in the AFC Championship, and I cannot shit talk him if he brings the Super Bowl to Buffalo.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Between Buffalo and Detroit, who I think America wants that to be the Super Bowl.
That's what America wants the Super Bowl to be. The 2 plucky underdogs.
The underdogs, neither one of them have a Lombardi. So, putting those 2 franchises together on the biggest stage for the biggest prize, yeah, I'd watch the shit out of that.
It'd probably be one of the most watched Super Bowls, honestly.
Now, granted, they played each other earlier this season, I believe, and Buffalo just narrowly beat them out. So
it was a fucking gunfight.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It was a shootout unlike many we've seen. It was a fantastic game. So I feel like that rematch on the Super Bowl stage would hopefully provide similar fireworks than the regular season one.
I think it would definitely be one of the most anticipated Super Bowls because, like you said, you've got history there. Detroit has not won a Lombardi. They won an NFL championship all the way back before the Super Bowl era.
Yeah.
Buffalo has historically gone to 4 in a row and not won one of them.
Yeah. That is that is maddeningly frustrating for the fans of Buffalo. Because it's like, yeah, we made it to the big game 4 times. You would think, like, out of 4 straight years of going to the Super Bowl, you'd be able to pull out at least one. Maybe more if you were a dynasty. But to lose all 4 has got to stick in their craw. You know that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So, and as much as I hated hearing them whenever Denver was there, they've got one of the best fan bases in the NFL. They are so loud. And if they get to the Super Bowl, that is probably going to be one of the heaviest traveling teams. Same thing with Detroit. Yeah. Those are 2 diehard fan bases because they've been through the shits.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the Super Bowl everybody wants. Please, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, keep Patrick Mahomes out of the Super Bowl this year.
That's the hope we all.
CJ Stroud, that also extends to you. Please, God. But I think I got to go Buffalo here. I want Baltimore to win for my brother, but Buffalo, I think.
Here's the thing. Like, Detroit was so close last year with the NFC Championship, and they just couldn't pull it out. For that
Baltimore
team,
didn't run the ball
in the NFC Championship.
Baltimore in the AFC Championship. Whenever both of those teams fell apart in their championship games.
Yeah, in the NFC Championship, though, like Detroit, they have that ability to go far. They are one of the. I just read this today. They're the only franchise that's been around since the Super Bowl started that hasn't been to a Super Bowl. I know
they're the only one that hasn't been to one.
That has been around like the entire time that the Super Bowl has been around. They've never been. I'd say the Browns too, but there were those couple years that they weren't like in the league.
Yeah, that's right.
But it would be Detroit and Cleveland.
Have the Jaguars been to a Super Bowl?
No, but the Jags haven't been around the entire time.
I was about to say they also followed.
They were in expansion.
Yeah. I just didn't remember if they made a Super Bowl in their first couple of years. I was very young.
So I think the 4 teams that have never been to a Super Bowl: Detroit, Cleveland, Jacksonville, Houston. Those are the only 4.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else has been.
And 2 of those are expansion teams.
Yeah, 2 of those are expansion teams. So it's like, yeah, you haven't made it, but you've also had less chances to make it. Although Jacksonville really should have made it the year that they were going to face Philly because they got screwed in that game hard.
Oh, yeah. I was pissed.
I was pissed too. It's like, dude, that is a fumble and you blew it dead. You blew it dead. Like, let the play out. And you just,
All right. Well, I'm going to pull up the NCAA.
All right.
So that way we can take a look at your national championship game, Greg.
I want to see if the spreads come down at all because it was absurd last time I looked at it.
What are you doing, phone? Go back. NCAA.
Josh is saying, let's go Notre Dame versus Ohio State. He's rooting for the Buckeyes. Which,
damn. Okay. Yeah, Ohio State versus Notre Dame.
Yep.
Notre Dame is 8.5-point underdogs to Ohio State. I understand them being underdogs. But
I think that spread is way too high.
It's definitely way too high. 2.5, maybe 2.5. A field goal separation, maybe. I don't see it being over a touchdown.
I think they are giving either Ohio State's offense way too much credit or not enough credit to Notre Dame's defense.
Which is
either way.
Stout.
Either way, 8.5 is an absurd amount. Like, this is going to be as close of a game as Notre Dame versus Penn State was. Because Penn State and Ohio State, when they played each other, were kind of on level ground. Ohio State was a little bit better that day. But you have to realize this is also the Ohio State team that in their last regular season game lost to a mid-Michigan team. So, like, you want to hold something against them, like, hold that against them. That wasn't that long ago. Everybody brings up Northern Illinois like it just happened. That happened in September.
That was week 0, wasn't it?
No, that was week 2.
Okay.
Because they faced Texas A&M. They went to College Station. Mind you, College Station, the loudest stadium in college football, and beat Texas A&M by double digits. Then, yeah, Northern Illinois happened. Since then, Notre Dame has smacked down pretty much everybody they faced. They didn't smack Penn State down because they just barely won that game with a field goal. But
and Penn State is like Tomohiro Ishii, a stone pit bull.
Penn State was a team that had a bunch of tools. They have solid running backs. They had Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. But it came down to Penn State making a critical mistake late in the game. And that gave Notre Dame the win. Ohio State, I think if Notre Dame can shut down Ohio State's receiving core, I think Ohio State becomes very one-dimensional and they can't move the ball. So to make them 8.5-point favorites, it seems to me like the odds makers are not giving Notre Dame that credit for their defensive performances.
Mm.
More so than them giving Ohio State's offense a lot of credit. Because if you look at that Ohio State-Texas game, yeah, Ohio State won by 14 points. But that doesn't tell the story of the fact that Texas had the ball on the 1-yard line and couldn't punch it in to make it a tie game. Like that's a 14-point swing in a matter of a couple plays. So to give Ohio State that much credit, it's like you guys were a yard away from possibly going to overtime. So I don't know.
I'm taking Notre Dame.
Listen,
all the way through.
I want to believe that this Notre Dame team is light years different than what I saw in 2013. It's a new system. It's new players. It's the NIL. It's a new head coach who the players absolutely love playing for and would run through brick walls for. This is unlike any Notre Dame team I have seen in my lifetime. Like, yeah, it was a 12-0 season in 2012. Fantastic. You get blown out by Alabama. There was the 2018 season where you faced, I believe it was Clemson in the first round. You got your ass kicked. Or no, it was, I think it was Clemson. You faced Clemson in the first round. You got your ass kicked. 2020, you go undefeated. You're a part of the ACC that year because of pandemic stuff. You lose to Clemson in the ACC championship by getting blown out. Classic Brian Kelly. Then you lose to Alabama, getting blown out. Classic Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly's not there anymore. This is all head coach Marcus Freeman. And I'll tell you what, he has these players motivated like I've never seen before. I want to believe. If Notre Dame wins the national championship on Monday, I promise everybody watching, I will be insufferably happy on Wednesday's show.
There will be a smile that won't be able to be taken away.
That's exactly it, brother. Like it will be the most ridiculous and over-the-top celebration that you would expect on any type of show. And I won't give a shit because that will mean Notre Dame wins its first national championship since 1988. Okay?
Greg's about to have a marching band come through his room.
Notre
Dame wins.
Or I will just buy all the instruments and play them all myself and be completely ridiculous. I don't know, but that's where I'm at with it. Like, I'm excited for Monday. I believe that this team can do it against Ohio State. They just have to.
Will it be streaming anywhere, or is it going to be like a Fox game?
It's ESPN, I believe.
ESPN, okay.
ESPN on Monday night. So, sorry, wrestling fans, I'm not watching Raw on Monday, or at least I hope I'm not. Because if I'm watching Raw on Monday, that means it's going poorly.
That means if he's live tweeting anything but the game, something went wrong.
Yeah, pretty much. And let me tell you, like, my heart sunk when Notre Dame went down 10-0 to Penn State, because I was like, they're not moving the ball at all. Like, they can't get anything going. They can't stop Penn State. Get a field goal before the half. They get the ball back to start the second half. They drive down, get a touchdown. It's like, okay, back in this. Take the lead. I was like, oh, this is wonderful. Penn State drives down in like 2 minutes and scores again. It's like, oh, okay, well, all right, it's a game. Riley Leonard throws a pick the very first play of the next drive. Fuck my life. And then Penn State scores again. It's like, okay, well, it's over. Notre Dame long touchdown, back in it. Go back and forth for a couple drives. And then Drew Aller of Penn State throws one of the most awful picks you'll ever see. And then Notre Dame wins the game off of a field goal. So
it was definitely a roller coaster.
My gosh.
Like, it kept you tuned in the entire game, though.
I felt like I was going to throw up at least 3 times. Either from excitement or from, I can't believe this is happening.
Oh, dude, I feel that. I remember that feeling watching the Broncos beating the Patriots in the AFC Championship game before Super Bowl 50. Because I was like, wait, this is the team that should beat us. Why are we winning? Why is Von Miller beating the shit out of Tom?
Well, I remember watching like the end of that game because it was right before the Royal Rumble was going to happen. So I was watching, and then I just got to laugh at the fact that Tom Brady wasn't going to make the Super Bowl again, which is
Brady
fun
threw
for
an interception to a linebacker. That don't happen, let alone in the playoffs.
Dwayne, appreciate you, buddy. We appreciate you joining the Royal Raffle. Like, I know you're already a part of it, but appreciate you anyway. Yeah, so let's talk about that, the Royal Raffle, which, if you're not familiar with it yet, we've done this the last few years. We've gotten people to donate. We're doing the charity sheets for the kids this year. And it's just a good time for everybody. I really enjoy it. And we have several entries already. We still have some individual spots still open. I don't know where we're at as far as the 30th, because, excuse me, I don't know if all the spots, if we don't get any more, are filled up. It's getting close. It's getting close to that. But I still want to have the 30 individual, the 30 different people as far as it goes, and then draw everybody else after. Still working on that. But who knows? Maybe a couple social media shares and telling your friends about, be like, hey, there's this really cool thing for charity where if you win, you can actually get some money, but you're also donating to the charity on top of it. It's super cool. I love doing it every year.
Word of mouth.
Wish we could get more people involved. There you go. That is an insane parlay there, Zach.
Oh, I'm interested. Notre Dame, Eagles, Chiefs, Bills, Lions. $100
bets, and you get 14,500.
Oh boy, you realize if you would have put $1 down, you would have made $145 back, right?
But here's the thing, like, brother, if you hit that, send some towards the Royal Raffle. Okay? Like, send some to donate to the charity.
But hey, I always hope for people to hit their parlays. I hope you hit this bet.
I hope you do too. Like, Notre Dame is probably your longest shot there, just based on the spread. But yeah,
you took most of the favorites in the NFL.
Yeah. So Notre Dame being the 8.5-point dog. The money line on that is
definitely jumps it up. I think the money line was like +3.
If I hit, we'll be at the Rumble. I'm down, bro. I am down for that.
Yeah, it's plus 290 is the money line.
Yeah. Dwayne's asking if you are in the Royal Raffle. You are.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, you sent me money last week.
I'm actually probably, whenever I get paid today, going to send another entry in for each.
Oh, there you go. You can make that for Laura.
Oh, yeah. We'll do that.
Might as well. But yeah, I haven't seen how much was sent, but Dwayne, you definitely got some going on. Cool. Cool. A few more entries.
Are you going to be doing anything on the night of the Rumble?
I always host a party like at my house for the Rumble. So I am going to try. I've been saying I'm going to do this for like 7-8 years. Try and do like live reactions to the Rumble entrance coming out, and I've just straight up never done it. I want to do it this year, even if it's just off my phone.
You could always do a couple of YouTube shorts and then upload them the day after.
I might do that. Just because it's like, hey, listen, I want to get views going, get the reaction going, because people love reaction content, it seems. Mm-hmm. So I always feel like I'm not genuine when I do the reactions, but that's just me. So
I can understand that.
Dwayne, the drawing is in 2 weeks on the Greg Cherry Show. It's the Wednesday before the Royal Rumble. So next week is hopefully me being cheerful and me being the most absurd I've ever been on the show. And then the week after is the Royal Raffle. So
God, it still feels so weird to have the Rumble in fucking February.
I know. Like I could have
I feel like it should be this Sunday.
You would think, yeah. You would think it'd be, hey, like this weekend is the Royal Rumble. It's like, no, it's still 2 weeks away.
Yeah, and it's on a Saturday, isn't it?
It's on a Saturday, which they've been doing Saturday. Next year's going to be so weird.
That still fucks with me.
Next year's going to be so weird because the Rumble's going to start at like noon Eastern. Because they're in Saudi.
I'm going to have to get off work early.
Hey, look at it this way. You have a year in advance to play.
Hey, boss, I'm going to have to leave early on this Sunday. Why are you booking it for a year out? Don't ask.
Well, it'll probably be the Saturday if I had to guess.
Oh, yeah, valid. Hopefully I'm off weekends by then.
That'd be good. Yeah, Dwayne says Mania is Easter weekend, too. Yeah, Easter falls on WrestleMania Sunday. I guess I should say WrestleMania Sunday falls on Easter.
Well, you guys look at it as Easter, and I'm looking at it like, look at that.
Oh, yeah, you're going to enjoy it for more than WrestleMania, aren't you?
Look at the date.
You know who should be there?
Dude, he better be there. It's Mania in Vegas. It's on April 20th.
Yeah. I mean, Riddle's not there anymore, so you got to go with your next big pothead.
Yet. It'd be hilarious if he pops up for literally 5 minutes just to do a spot and be like, wait, man, I don't work here anymore.
I mean, hell, I wasn't Travis, what's his name, smoking a blunt on the first Raw on Netflix?
That was something. That was something. Because I don't even know if that building allows that. And he's just there on camera on top of the ramp, just yeah.
Oh shit! I didn't even think about this.
It's gonna be 2 nights next year.
I forgot they talked about doing a 2-night Rumble.
Please God, no, please God.
Well, probably because they want to do the women's Rumble one night and the men's Rumble the other night. That's my guess.
Well, we already talked about that, didn't we?
Yeah, and I don't know how I feel about like WrestleMania being 2 nights is one thing.
If you're wanting to fit 8 matches on the Royal Rumble card, I guess it's a good idea, but
I guess it makes sense with all the fact that they have all these championships now. It's like, okay, some you can get some championship matches going at the Rumble, and that's fine. I don't know. It just seems excessive to do the 2 nights. I think they're doing SummerSlam this year.
I think I remember hearing that as well. They're gonna do all 4 of the big 4 as 2-night events.
I mean, at least the Rumble, WrestleMania, and SummerSlam. I don't know if they'll get away with doing Survivor Series 2 nights. They've talked about doing Money in the Bank.
2 War Games you can get, or 1 night is Survivor Series War Games, the other night is traditional Survivor Series.
Hey, I would be okay with that. Like, bring back the traditional Survivor Series matches.
Because I miss them. I really do.
Yeah, like the War Games matches are fine, but like you're missing out on booking some incredible Survivor Series elimination matches.
Because you can have one like absolute blood feud going into that event, and that be the War Games. But then, like, you should have, and it doesn't matter. It can be the women having the War Games match, or it can be the men having the War Games match. But there should at least be 2 traditional Survivor Series matches if we're going to do 2 nights.
Mm-hmm. Can you imagine, though, if they did like, no, that's way too complicated. I was going to say do the War Games format and then turn it into a Survivor Series elimination. Like an elimination War Games.
I mean, I'm sure you could do that. It would take a long fucking time.
Oh, it absolutely take a long fucking time.
But you could definitely do an elimination style War Games, or the match ends when all members of the team are eliminated and you can start pinfall or submission as soon as the match starts.
Yeah.
That would at least shorten it.
Yeah, I forgot the Rumble's going to be 2 nights.
God, that's gonna suck. And as my co-hosts Shug and Fez say, for the women, it's gonna look like a fucking Power Rangers convention out there.
I mean, it really will. Like, I can imagine the people that they're gonna try and pull for that. Because what do you do if CM Punk just straight up is not going to go? I mean, he's not going to be in the Rumble.
Watch as they fuck up all the booking and have Punk be the champion by the time they get to Saudi Arabia for that weekend. Punk's world champion, but he's not traveling here.
like he gets concussed or something before the Rumble.
Good Lord.
Wayne's saying it hasn't been confirmed.
Yeah, but we've got a whole year to get it confirmed.
Yeah.
WWE is never going to say no to more money.
I wonder if SummerSlam next year, the one in Indy, is going to be the 2-night SummerSlam, the first 2-night SummerSlam.
I think it is the one in Indy.
Yeah, because
where are they this year?
Well, I don't know. I know the Rumble's in Indy, but like they have that like multi-year deal.
Minnesota. I think they're in Minnesota this year for
SummerSlam.
For SummerSlam.
WrestleMania is Vegas, obviously. There was supposed to be confirmation about Backlash being in Mexico, but apparently that hasn't been confirmed. So,
I'm sure it will in the next few days. If not, it'll be announced at the Rumble.
Yeah, that story, either that or WrestleMania. They give people a month to plan. Are you sure SummerSlam is 2 nights this year? Where's SummerSlam this year?
I want to say it's in Minneapolis, where the Vikings play.
That can't be right.
Where does it say?
It's saying MetLife Stadium.
MetLife? Oh, no, yeah. I think it is MetLife.
Yeah, MetLife. WWE.com says first ever 2-night SummerSlam is this year. Yep.
For the love of God, make sure that the turf isn't out there. We don't need any wrestlers tearing their ACLs.
Well, I mean, they do their work in the ring, fortunately, so I don't have to worry about that. But yeah, it's a WWE.com article. So it's not like somebody speculating on it. It's confirmation that they're doing it.
What event is getting, or what is Minneapolis getting? I could have swore they're getting
Daniel
like a
says
major
Minnesota's 2026, which I'm surprised they're planning SummerSlam that far out, because I think it took till like April or May to find out that SummerSlam was in Cleveland last year.
Yeah, because I was waiting to hopefully get tickets, and then as soon as it dropped, I was like, and then they showed the prices, and I'm like, you guys should have announced it earlier so people could save up.
Yeah. Listen, Jen and I went, we didn't get a bad deal on tickets, fortunately. So I had fun. Like, it was my first live WWE pay-per-view in like over a decade. So it was nice to go there. It was nice to see some people that I've met through the internet. Yeah, it was good times.
How are your views doing on those Royal Rumble shorts?
Pretty good. I can actually pull up some of the stats for that. I had another video go over 1,000 views. It was the corporate Royal Rumble from a couple days ago. So that's doing good. Listen, this series has got me over 100 new subscribers. I can't complain.
Let's go.
So yeah, the shorts thing is doing well for the channel. It's growing slowly but surely.
That's all it takes, man. Just start catching that wave.
But yeah, I had one video. I don't remember if it was at the beginning of the month or it was the end of last month, that got like almost 6,000 views.
Damn.
And it was like the 1989 Royal Rumble. And I'm like, what a random like one to take off, because like you don't think about the Rumbles in the 80s that often.
You're like, okay, YouTube, giving everybody the second Royal Rumble to be on TV. Thank you.
Yeah, it's why. Okay, like I'm not gonna complain. Like, if you want to be interested in the first ever 30-man Rumble, then yeah, okay. And people tried to correct me and be like, "Oh, you know, the first Royal Rumble was 1988." I was like, "Yeah, I said the first 30-man Rumble. 1988 was only 20.
Mm-hmm.
Don't quiz me." People,
when it comes to this Rumble shit,
that's been my favorite part of this thing, like low key, because there have been a couple people trying to question my knowledge on the Royal Rumble. It's like, if there is anybody on the planet to not do that with, it's this guy.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to come at me for my Rumble knowledge, because I will school your ass. And that's not like me being cocky. That's just like, I've watched these so fucking much. Like, I know, like, if you name me any Rumble from like 2000 on, I can tell you the order of entry for every single freaking one of them. I'd love to be able to do that.
A couple of them.
I'd love to be able to do that with the 90s, but there's so many weird fucking entries in there. I just haven't processed it.
Ken Patera.
Yeah, I think, was he in the 88 one?
I believe it was the 98 third entrant.
98? No, that was Tom Brady. 98.
Ken Patera.
That was Attitude Era, brother.
I'm pretty sure it was an Attitude Era one that he entered number 3 at.
Ken Patera?
I'm pretty sure.
Ken Patera was like, he was there in the 80s. I never remember him being on a show in the 90s.
I might be mistaken. I probably am.
Dwayne's asking, what number did Val Venus enter in his last Rumble? So that would have been 2002. He was in there. He came out right after Stone Cold Steve Austin, so I'm going to say number 20.
I can look this up real quick.
Yeah, check the 2002 Rumble. Because he wasn't in 2003 because he was in the tag team title match. He wasn't in 2004 or 05 or 06. 2002 was the last Rumble.
It is the Royal Rumble 2000. He entered at number 20 and was eliminated by Mr. Steve Austin.
Yep. Told you. So the 89 Rumble I was telling you about, 5,534 views. Published it last month, December 17th.
The fact that it's got that many views is awesome.
I couldn't believe it took off like that. And like none of my other ones took off like that. But like something I did, it must have just like hit the algorithm right that day or something. I'm not complaining at all. I wish the rest of them would take off like that.
Hey, if they all catch on like that one did, they should.
I'm hoping as we get closer to the actual Royal Rumble that more people will search for Royal Rumble related videos and then they'll see the entire
They'll
playlist.
start coming through the algorithm more.
Yeah. Because I have the next 4 scheduled. Funny thing, I want to bring this up. Again, this is also something I texted Maven today. The 2002 Royal Rumble came up on my countdown today. The WWE YouTube this morning uploaded the 2002 Royal Rumble. What a weird ass coincidence.
That is nuts. So, Greg, are you going to be tuning into AEW tonight?
That is the plan. I haven't checked out Dynamite in a little bit. Like, it's been chaos for the last few weeks. But I do plan on tuning in tonight. Planning on enjoying some sugar since I haven't been able to for the last few days. And just checking out some Dynamite. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited for Powerhouse and Mox. I feel like their styles are going to mesh very well.
Also, Women's Casino Gauntlet.
Now that should be a fun match. The men's last week was really fun, or was it the week before? I don't remember.
My fear with the Casino Gauntlet matches is that they're going to overdo them.
Well, I feel like they're doing casino matches, like air quotes casino matches, every other month or so.
Yeah, it's like, okay, like it's a special type of concept. You don't have to throw it out there because it worked all the time. Like, just because it worked, don't overkill the concept. Like, less is more.
Because we had the casino ladder match not too long ago too.
Yeah, like just let things lie, book things normally, and then when the moment calls for it, don't just throw it out there as like a contenders match just to have something on TV. Okay, just don't. And that's not to say I hate the match. I don't hate the match. I just don't overbook it. Like, don't overdo it. That's my one. That's my one complaint about AEW. Once they find something that works, they beat it to death. I don't know.
Dwayne's like, I never thought I'd say I wished Vince Russo was on creative for AEW.
Okay, listen, it's not that bad. Okay, it's not.
Put the diamond ring on a pole, bro.
You wouldn't catch me dead wishing for Vince Russo to come back to creative anywhere. So that's not happening.
You want to know what I really wish? Because I feel like he'd be great on like full creative if Jericho stepped back from on screen and started focusing more backstage. I feel like he'd be really good in those roles. Like if they were to win.
Yeah, I had to realize what you were saying, Zach, before I put this up. Who would be the winners that would be the worst for both possible Rumbles? Logan Paul possibly winning the men's or Piper Niven winning the women's. I mean, that's
Logan Paul definitely be one of the worst for the men.
Yeah, Logan Paul does not need to main event WrestleMania. At least not this.
I love Piper Niven. She is such a sweetheart.
And Piper Niven, I don't think would win it.
But she wouldn't be bad. She could definitely have a good showing in the Rumble.
I feel like there's eventually going to be like a WrestleMania match between Chelsea and Piper for the women's U.S. title.
You think that's going to happen this year?
Maybe. I noticed like during the tournament and whatnot that there was like the slightest bit of tension. So maybe I'm just looking into things too deep, but I think that an eventual Chelsea versus Piper match is going to happen.
Oh, when it happens, fantastic, because Chelsea sells like $1 million.
Yeah,
and Piper is very underrated in the ring.
Yeah, so I think that'll be a good moment for Piper. We'll see that. As far as the worst possible people to win the Royal Rumble,
Logan Paul's not a bad shout.
Yeah, Logan Paul's not a bad shout. As far as the women go, it's hard to say, like, anybody that I'd just be like, really? This person won? Because at the same time, I don't want to disparage the talent because...
Yeah, because, like, it wouldn't be us saying that they don't deserve to win the Rumble.
Yeah.
But, like, they don't deserve to win it now. They don't deserve to win it this year.
I will throw one out. Eva Marie. I don't want to see her win the Women's Royal Rumble.
I mean, I could say Tessa Blanchard, but that would be way too.
Yeah, that would be a bad Rumble winner too. And she's in TNA now, so it's weird. Like, do we want to see her in the Rumble? Not really. No.
No. I do think we see two TNA women enter the Rumble this year.
I think we see a TNA man enter the Royal Rumble.
I do too.
Did you catch how Bayley looked at Rhea's belt in that segment?
Oh, yes, I did.
Listen, I would not be mad.
We've had Bayley Rhea though before, haven't we?
I don't know if we've had Bayley Rhea before. I know they wanted to say that Becky was supposed to come back during Rhea's segment. It's like, we did Becky and Rhea already at last year's WrestleMania. We don't need it again.
Mm-hmm.
And besides, I thought that match was only okay. Like, I thought
Io and that match last year.
I thought Io and Bayley last year like overtook Rhea and Becky, in my opinion.
Mm.
But I don't know. I
Sonya Deville winning.
Poor Sonya Deville. Like,
I love Sonya. She's always gotten the shit end of the stick.
She has, like, I thought there could have been so much more with the her and Mandy thing, the her and Naomi thing, and like she's just gotten.
Okay, I'll throw one out. Nothing against her talent, but her winning would have absolutely no purpose. Charlotte Flair.
Yeah. Listen, I have complained about this numerous times. If Charlotte returns and gets thrust right back into the title picture, like, what? Why? Like, we don't need to see Charlotte Rhea 3, okay? Or whatever it is, because it's more than that. It's like Charlotte Rhea 6. We don't need to see that.
Yeah, because they also had, yeah.
But as far as WrestleMania goes, it would be Charlotte Rhea 3. And I'm sure I pissed people off because I said it in my 2020 Women's Rumble review that I thought Charlotte and Rhea at 36 was not a great women's match. Everybody said, oh, this was like one of the greatest women's matches we've ever seen. It wasn't even the best women's match of that card.
No, I think their match at, I believe it was SummerSlam that year, was leagues better.
The last WrestleMania match, 39 that they had.
Money in the Bank?
Money in the Bank. They had
that was the insane one.
That was a really good one. Their match they had at WrestleMania 39, probably their best. But their WrestleMania 36 match sucked so hard. Like, I did not.
Thunderdome Mania, wasn't it?
That was the Thunderdome Mania. Or no, the Performance Center Mania. They weren't at the Thunderdome yet.
Yeah, that was that whole Mania. There was only like 2 or 3 good matches, and one of them wasn't even a real match.
Dwayne says he thinks Charlotte or Becky is going to be the first 2-time winner.
I see it.
If Becky wins and goes to SmackDown to face Tiffany Stratton, I would be okay with that.
Because didn't Tiffany beat Becky for the NXT Women's title?
Other way around.
Okay.
Like that, I would be fine with. But Rhea needs a new challenger. I don't want it to be Becky. I like Bayley, but I don't want it to be Bayley.
Would you be mad if Trish wins Rumble to face Tiffy?
No.
I wouldn't be mad. I just don't feel like. I love legend spots in Rumbles. I don't like when legends win Rumbles, or it's never really happened. But
I would like to see this too, as long as there is no championship involved. I want to see Charlotte have a match at WrestleMania where there are no titles.
You can easily have them eliminate each other from the Rumble.
There you go. Problem solved.
Yeah. Have them take each other over the top rope. Have someone like Chelsea Green eliminate both of them while they're dishing it out.
Have Becky eliminate Charlotte, and then Charlotte comes back in after she's gone and eliminates Becky. Feud. Boom. Easy peasy Tyler Breeden.
I like what you did there.
Thank you. So yeah, I want to see somebody different face Rhea. I would love to see Rhea and Bianca. Like we talked about that.
Well,
that would be a good
if it's who I have winning the Women's Rumble, then that would be nuts. But that's also hot shotting like a motherfucker.
I still don't know, like at this point, who you have win the. I think I have a good idea of who should win the men's. Actually, I'm between 2 people who I think should win the men's.
Mm-hmm.
John Cena and CM Punk. Those are the 2 I'm between. I don't know otherwise who would.
At the time, I'm having a hard time for anybody other than Cena, but I'll find somebody other than Cena.
Women's match, it's a toss-up. Like, I have 0 clue.
Jordan
especially because both titles just changed hands. So it's like, I don't know what direction they could possibly go.
I feel like whoever wins the Women's Rumble, it's because Rhea's not a transitional champion. Tiffy's run is not going to be a transitional reign, I don't think. So I don't think whoever wins the Women's Rumble wins at Mania.
I mean, it's possible that Charlotte could win and face Tiffany Stratton, but I don't want to see Charlotte immediately back in the title picture. Like, it's like, for once, let her have a feud that doesn't involve a title. For once. She's been in the company for over 10 years. Let her one time have a non-title feud.
Now, for the men's, before we get off here, because I think we only have a minute left. For the men's, have Braun Breaker drop the IC title early in the show and have him win the men's Rumble.
That would be crazy. Who's he drop the Intercontinental title to, though? Sheamus?
Give him the Triple Crown finally. Or give him the Grand Slam.
Yeah. I mean, those are good shouts. We'll definitely talk about that more, possibly next week. It depends on how my mood is next week.
If the show doesn't happen next week, you guys will know why.
No, it'll happen. The mood will change depending on what happens on Monday. But until then, please share the Royal Raffle stuff. If you want to join, go ahead and join. The link is in the description of this show. There's also a video on YouTube to join and send money through PayPal that way. Just let me know what you want to see with the Greg Cherry Brand stuff coming up. We're going to try and do Jack of all trades in February at some point. Haven't talked to everybody about it. I've talked to you about it, but I haven't talked to everybody else about it. So we'll see how that goes. Thank you for watching. Don't be a jag. Enjoy Dynamite. And we will see you next week on The Greg Cherry Show. Have a good night. Go Irish.
Go Irish.